This time on Flippin' Bangers, we want something different.
A Tokyo show car from 1990.
It's a concept car that's crossed with a shopping car.
What's not to like?
We get something different.
It must have been based on an aeroplane.
Oh! But is different good?
It still looks like an absolute shed.
We've made a terrible mistake with this car.
We take the risk.
No, you'd have to be a fool to buy a car looking like that, wouldn't you?
We've played big this time. It might just pay off.
And await reward.
I'm very, very, very happy. Cheap, quick and easy.
Yeah.
What could be better?
We've said goodbye to our day jobs and invested our own hard-earned cash as we try and make it in the cutthroat world of second-hand cars.
You've got to buy well, but you've got to sell well.
We have a goal.
We need to double our money. If we put 500 quid in, we need to see £1,000 back.
But we're forced to the very bottom of the market.
We buy cars that nobody else wants.
Who else will buy that car?
Can we keep our business afloat, Flipping Bangers?
There's so many things to do to this car.
We've turned our backs on our regular jobs and attempted to carve out a new living by buying and selling cheap cars.
Evicted from our previous workshop by angry neighbours, Will has sorted us out with a new base, and apart from having no working toilet, it feels like home.
We've raided our bank accounts, and this time we have enough to invest around £500 to £1,500 on each car.
Our usual headache is what to fill the workshop with.
You know, I was thinking, we see a lot of really cool cars in this game, don't we? But we don't do many Japanese cars, do we?
No. They don't really work for us, do they? The engineering is bulletproof. So you're never get a broken one. If you don't get a broken one, you can't get a cheap one. And if you can't get a cheap one, then there's no profit margin for us.
I wonder if we shouldn't revisit that to see if that is actually the case.
Maybe if we lower our horizons a little, you know, that's in sunny, maybe.
I like Sunnies.
They are sweet.
What about this? Toyota, I don't know if it's pronounced Sera or Sera. Gull-wing doors, project car.
Nice. How much is that?
£2,000.
Yeah, it is. It's a concept car that's crossed with a shopping car.
What's not to like?
Well, I'll tell you what's one thing to like. It's a good one, this one. £4,000.
Maybe it's exactly the tonic we need, something completely different from what we normally do.
Yeah, a concept shopping car.
I'll phone them.
Perfect.
So, Toyota Sera, or Sera, whatever, we're on our way to see you.
We're going to Grantham, which is the home of Isaac Newton.
Wow, are we going to pop in?
I don't think he lives there now, I'm not sure.
I was just reading on here.
Well, that's a fair old slog. I hope you've got something to keep me busy and keep my mind off driving.
Yes, well, in-car entertainment is going to be me regaling you with facts about this car. The Sera came out in 1990, which was apparently boom time in Japan. Finished production 6 years later. I don't know if there's any relevance to that. They only made 16,000 cars, and the name comes from the French être, to be, which doesn't really make any sense, does it? Because it's called a Sera.
Yeah.
Do you think that's got something
How did they get that name?
Well, I wonder if it's got something to do with the sort of Sera. Is it? I don't know.
We'll have to see. I don't.
It's going to be a learning curve.
Yeah, well, apparently it's about the future. It's got an amazing sound system. It won several design awards. Blah, blah, blah. Sounds quite clever.
The seller has 3 Seras, a nice one, a spare one, and a gold one, project car that they can't or they don't want to fix. And that's the one we're looking at. Surprise, surprise.
Oh, crikey.
You're right.
I parked in the tree. Sorry.
Look at that. A super cooler.
That's groovy.
Hi, Sujato.
Hi.
I'm Gus.
And Will, good morning to you.
Hi.
We've come to see your Sera.
Oh, the gold one.
Yes.
Here are the keys.
Okay.
That doesn't run.
No, it said on the advert it doesn't work, but we have a look round it and...
Absolutely.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's it smaller than you thought?
Yeah, it's a lot more compact than I thought it was going to be. Apart from this gap, look, it actually looks like somebody's been stuck under the bonnet and it's been jammed down on them. It's bent, crazy bent.
But look at the rake of the screen. That is so cool, isn't it?
It's beautiful, but it leads directly to, look at that. That's another problem. Look at this here. That's going to need a load of fixing. That's rubbish.
Beautiful aftermarket wheels there.
I've got to admit, those are nice. I do like them. I'm with you on that.
And wait for it, William. Are you ready? Going doors.
I've done my research. Actually, butterfly doors.
Your butterfly, my gullwing. Have you seen this interior?
Let's see, let's see.
Grubby, isn't it?
I love the shape of it.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it does look nice. Awful, awful colour.
I think I'm applying the yardstick here of if a car looks super fast and super cool standing still, we should definitely take it home with us.
Can I apply the same yardstick? Yeah, it's heavy.
I think that's broken.
Oh, and it's broken. If it feels like I'm going to break it by just opening the back,
Yeah.
then we don't buy it or
Yeah.
take it home, because that's a very expensive bit of glass.
Yeah, and that strut is clearly broken.
It is.
There's a lot of overspray here. I have to say, almost every panel has got overspray, or actually underspray here on it.
So you've got too much paint at your end. Down here, quite a lot of it's missing, where that's why somebody's reversed it at high speed into something paint scrapey, like a wall.
Don't you think that this, I mean, it's just totally amazing, isn't it? That it must have been based on an aeroplane, mustn't it? That's the window.
Stylish, cool.
It's aeronautical, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, we know that doesn't work.
Yeah. I'm really thinking if we were given this car, and even in our 5 days, we wouldn't have enough time to get it done, and we wouldn't have something we could end up selling. And again, the engine doesn't work.
No, we don't know what that is either, do we? We don't know if that's taking the engine out and getting a new one. I think you're right. I think it's just too much work, sadly, because it's great.
It's literally a non-starter.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think it's lovely. I think they're absolutely amazing. I've never seen one before, but I've completely fallen for it. But this one in particular, it's just too much work. We've only got 5 days to do it, and we're not going to get that done in 5 days.
I can't help but notice you seem to have another one over here. What's the story with that?
Yes, I bought this car for my husband in 2013. He was driving it and we liked it a lot. So we bought that one. But that runs, but it consumes a lot of fuel.
Oh, OK. So you're not actually having a lot of luck with them, are you?
No, not really.
Well, as we're here, and that's there, would you be interested in selling it? Could we have a look at it?
Go and have a look and see how you feel.
OK.
The keys are in the car.
Can we run it up and down your drive?
Yes, of course, go ahead.
OK, I'll get him not to go mad. Thank you.
Cheers, Gus. To me, that's already looking a lot better.
No, no way. No, it's just not as cool.
No, it's not. But it does have the same dent in the rear bumper as the other one.
Same driver, maybe. The thing about the paint is, though, it is original colour, isn't it?
It is. It's a bit grandad, but that might be in our favour, really. Gullwing doors?
Butterfly doors.
Oh, mind you, how did you get in?
It's much easier to get in as a co-pilot than it is as a driver.
I think this is the shaped door you have if your back bends the other way.
Yeah. Does yours?
No, it doesn't. No, it's quite difficult to get in.
It's baking hot as well, isn't it?
It is. It's greenhouse temperature. Yeah.
You'd want to hope it had really good air conditioning, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
As standard.
As standard. It's averagely bland on the inside. It's very Toyota.
It loses all its impact. All the impact of this, to me, is lost in this sort of gunmetal grey. Does it actually start then?
I've just spotted the keys.
Oh, yeah. Said the keys
Standard.
were in it.
It's like an American movie.
Yeah, you
Where
have
do
to do it
think
like
it
that.
would
You
be?
have to do it like that.
I'm quite a long way away from the steering wheel. All right, OK, ready. There's no lights up. There's no...
Flat battery. Get the starter pack.
Yeah.
Not as easy to get out of.
Our trusty starter pack. You can't leave home without one.
Shall I do the handbrake? I am the co-pilot, I can do that.
Well, it's more on your side.
Well, especially if I lean over this way. So what am I allowed to operate on here then? Am I...
I think anything you can reach, you're allowed to operate.
Okay.
But not at the same time as me.
It's quite squeaky in the suspension area, isn't it?
Funny noise coming from the back, yeah. I can't see anything out of these really weird. So much glass and so little vision. Stone wall. Stone walls?
Yeah,
stone
try not
wall.
to hit the stone wall.
That's why they've all got bumpers.
Hang on, what's this here? What's that? It has got AC, go on. Oh! Ooh, that's actually cold.
Hold on, is that forwards? I always worry with automatics. You're never quite certain, are you?
Well, D, I think. It's the international language of forward and automatic.
It didn't have that really sort of nice, definite...
Crisp clump.
You have clumped into a gear feel, so I can't see a thing.
Once you've gone back,
Yeah.
shall we go forward again?
Yeah.
This is not the most exciting test drive ever, even allowing for Will's bad driving.
This is a shared experience, Gus.
Well, I think bodywork, uninspiring but original. Mm-hmm. Some of it original, some of it not. Yeah, that's very good. It's very hot, isn't it? Engine, obviously trouble, but it doesn't seem that that would be too much, does it? Some sort of flow issue going on there?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, all the fuel filters. And there's, on the top, there's a...
Rail.
Yeah, that rail. Might be something to do with that. But I'd like to buy it because I think the car is cool. I think it's got something
Has the car
about
got
it.
potential for us to make money on it, though, realistically?
Yeah, we could be looking at about 3 to 4 grand for this car.
So if we could get it for 2,
Yeah.
2.5 or something.
thereabouts. Let's give it a bash, Gus. Let's take a punt on it.
But this Sera isn't really on the market. Can it be bought for the same price as a non-runner?
Sujata, hi. We've had a good look round your car and comprehensive test drive up and down your drive. And depending on how much you would like for the car, we would like to take it.
2,500?
Will?
What?
Sujata said she wants 2,500 for the car.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. Thinking a little bit, hoping we might be able to get it for a little bit less than that. If I use my most persuasive smile, might be able to bring the price down a bit.
Would you say 2,000? Would you be happy with
I
that?
was thinking.
If you take it away today, then you have got a deal.
Excellent. That's fantastic.
That is lovely. Thank you very much. Would you give us a hand putting it on the trailer?
No, no, no. That's your job.
Oh.
Specifically your job.
Well, there you go. Usually, Will's attempts at bargaining don't really work, but this time we win.
And since the Sera, or Sarah, drives, it's a quick job to get it locked and loaded, ready for our trip south. What we've got on the back is nice.
It's very un-Japanese, isn't it? I don't know where to categorise it. And that's sort of a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll, a little bit coupe, a little bit town car. You're going to feel different buzzing around town than that, aren't you?
Yeah, you are. You are. Yeah, and it is a bit of a mismatch of stuff. And honestly, I think that's probably what I'm worried about, because it looks cool. And it being Japanese, we know that we're kind of sorted on most of the mechanical stuff, so we're not going to have to worry too much about that. But if we can make this work for us and we get it all back together easily, then we might be onto a real, real winner. Just the fact that it's odd.
Is it at this point that I should say que sera sera, or should I just shut up?
I don't know. I suppose we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
The next day, after a long but nervous sleep, we get to look at the Sera with fresh eyes.
Well, what are you thinking?
I'm feeling suitably reassured at the moment.
Are you?
Yeah, this is the thing. I was doing a bit of research last night on the internet, and I was actually looking at Honda CRXs, which I know is a completely different car to this, but then I started looking at other Japanese cars, and interesting Japanese cars like this one, and I really am getting the feeling that Japanese cars, interesting Japanese cars in particular, are going up in value.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing, because I look at this in the cold light of day, I feel massively underwhelmed. I can't help but think we've made a terrible mistake with this car. So that's good. Phew.
It is, yeah. I'm getting the feeling we've been clever rather than silly, which is a really good feeling.
Really?
So that's a winner.
OK.
But we are at the stage we still don't know exactly what our jobs lists are. I think we need to take stock of what we've got here.
Yeah.
And what we need to do to this little beauty.
OK, front to back, things that we actually know. We know that we know it's not running very well. We know it's running too rich because we've got the MOT certificate, haven't we,
Yes.
saying that it's running rich.
Yeah.
So we know we've got a problem there. We know that's got to be fixed before we start moving our way back, don't we?
Yeah, definitely. I've got some thoughts on that. EFI engine, early sort of thing. We need to look at the choke. There could be a temperature sensor in the choke system on it.
Yeah.
The biggest job.
I know where you're coming from.
I know. Is the car just, I mean, the colour, the body, it is just so boring, so dull, so depressing. It's such a letdown.
But it's difficult to understand how they've done that, isn't it? Because actually, if you look at the top half, it's quite clever and quite funky.
Yeah.
And then the colour and the style of the rest of it is so ordinary. The problem is we were drawn in by the gold one, weren't we? With those lovely slab-sided, slotted alloys. It looked great, didn't it?
It did.
And this, it doesn't look great, does it? And that's where we've got to get to with this car, because that is the car that got us. It looked futuristic, didn't it? It looked fast. This just looks boring.
Exactly. We bought the right car.
Yes.
We just need to add some pizzazz.
The other thing, which looks rubbish, is the interior. And the problem with this roof/door is you can see so much of it. But it genuinely looks like it's been owned by a mechanic who's rushed home without taking his overalls off and who did really greasy jobs and then hurried back again in the same overalls.
And I think he was a part-time compost smuggler as well.
On the side. The other issue that I have with this car, though I have many, is the wheels. They are the blandest of 1990s wheels, aren't they? They've got nothing going for them.
It does look like somebody's taken them on for caravan.
Yes. It's a lot, and we should definitely get on with it.
Yeah, I think we need to stop thinking about things for the job list and...
Have you got the keys?
No. So, we've got to fix the engine, start up the inside and the out, easy peasy. Next up, a few shots for the internet listing.
Well, they say the camera never lies, but in actual fact, with a little wash and brush up, our Sera looks fantastic and completely belies the fact that it's been sitting underneath a beech tree for the last 4 years. And I've put it online and I've said that it's got brand new MOT, that it's mechanically sound, that it's a Japanese concept car for the road, that it's a future classic, of course, and that it's mechanically sound. Did I say that? And also I've said that if anyone wants to come and test drive it, they're welcome, which most of it's true, I have to say. The one issue that I do have is that the photographs portray a rather drab, grey little Sera. And that's sort of criminal, isn't it? Because it's an exciting car, sort of an exciting car, in a very drab colour. We need to do something about that. So we need, if we do that, we need to change it online because, well, just because we're going to have to if we change the appearance of the car. Pricing was really, really interesting and really difficult because normally I take a cross-section of several classic car sites, well-known classic car sites, and work out, you know, a price according to mileage, condition, things like that, just what normal people do. But there are none. There are none online. There are none for sale in classic car sites. Oh, well, there was one, the gold one, but we know about that. We've seen that and we don't want it. But it's the first time that's ever happened, which I thought was really interesting. Anyway, I've put my finger up and I've said the Sera is going to cost £5,495. If anyone wants to buy it, that's how much they're going to have to pay for it. And I was going to put it on an auction, but I actually don't think there's any point because they are so specialised. If anybody wants to buy a Sera, they will be looking, they will know it's for sale.
So in we go. And the first job is the engine, of course.
It's awful, isn't it?
Seriously, Gus, I don't remember it being that bad when we bought it.
No, you'd have to be a fool to buy a car looking like that, wouldn't you? It's awful, isn't it?
You'd have to be absolutely bonkers, yeah, right.
Yeah, well, my understanding of the injection system is that air comes in through here, petrol comes in through here and is pressurised in this rail, and it all meets up down the bottom of the manifold there and squirts in.
Yeah.
So I would have thought that taking these off and cleaning the contacts on the sensors has got to be a help at some point, or something we should look at.
Well, I think it's a really good plan to start with the simple stuff and then work our way up. I mean, for starters, let's have a look at the air filter, because if that's all clogged up, that's not going to help the fuel-air mix, is it?
No, that would certainly make it run rich, wouldn't it?
Which it's not.
No,
I mean, it's not in perfect condition, but for the time being, that'll be fine. We're not worried about that.
No. Well, it's got plenty of oil in it, and that's the fact. The oil's pretty clean, and I think, because they did talk about an overheating problem, didn't they? But there's no contamination in the oil, so, you know.
Right. The fluid level in the radiator is a bit low, and peering in there does look a little bit scuzzy and sludgy as well.
Well, do you think that offers us the opportunity to flush that out, flush the engine out, and flush the fuel system out? If it fixes it, then great, but if it doesn't, we can move on from there.
An engine flush involves using a solvent to dissolve sediment in the oil system.
Oh, what you got then?
Well, just reading the instructions, actually, for my part of the whole thing. This is lemon juice.
I can see that.
I know, it says it all over it, doesn't it?
I know the bottles.
So this is an old man's trick, something which I heard about years ago.
OK.
I've always wanted to try it. You put it in the cooling system.
Yeah.
Yeah? So mildly acidic mixture.
It's an acid, yeah.
Yeah. And then run around the system, churning everything up, dissolving all the nasty bits, picking it up in the water, 20 minutes worth of running, and then drain it all out. It's biodegradable, it's organic.
Yeah. It is also mildly unquantifiable, isn't it?
Well, yes, but I mean, you can see it's going to work. I mean, I've never done it before, but I've heard about it. I'd like to try it.
I mean, we could just buy some coolant flush, couldn't we, and tip in there?
Yeah, or we could just put this on our pancakes.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good idea, and I'd like to try it.
I think it's a good idea. I just want to point out that my grandfather had a trick as well. He could take his pants off without taking his trousers off. It never really worked for me, I have to say.
I'm going to give it a bash.
Yeah.
Certainly worth a go, isn't it?
I'm going to take this and put it in the petrol tank.
Well, that sounds a lot more reliable than mine.
The truth is that if the flushes don't do the business, there aren't a million places to go on the car. Remember, a person who has owned 3 of these couldn't get it to run right. We let the Sera cool and head home. Day 2. This is the day we find our Grandad Grey Sera no longer has an overfueling issue, thanks to our hard work.
We do need to remove the flush, though, before we can fill it up with new oil.
We need to flush out the coolant, which smells of rust and, oddly, lemon. So we top up the coolant and oil and ask, have we solved the problem?
The engine runs like a different car. Assuming the emissions are OK, and we do, we've done it.
That's fantastic. That is what I call a cheap fix.
It's really worked, hasn't it? Fuel system flush.
Brilliant.
Wowee.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, that's a massive step forward, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, leaps and bounds. I'm very, very, very happy. Cheap, quick and easy.
Yeah.
What could be better?
Good.
I'll tell you what could be better.
Oh, is that leaking?
That radiator is throwing coolant out all over the place.
It wasn't doing that before, was it? Is that your lemon juice that's done that?
No, it wasn't my lemon juice. That's a justified way of doing it. It's just
That is a problem for us.
That is a massive problem.
I do not think that we'll be able to find one of those radiators.
Well, it's got a plastic cap on it, so I can't even fix it.
Are you going to take this out?
I am. I'm going to have to pull that out, because either needs fixing or repairing, or replacing.
Well, do you want me to see if I can find one? I think the radiator is going to be a problem. I don't think we'll find one off the shelf
Why
either.
did we buy such an unusual car?
That's your fault.
Well, I'm going to get them spanners. This is what we call a one-step forwards and a one-step back situation. We fix one thing and reveal a new problem.
Finding service parts for this car is incredibly difficult. All the things that you think, oh, well, I'll phone up our parts supplier, give them the registration number, they'll give me a part number, we'll order the part, all's good, it'll be here within the end of the day. But that's not the case with the Sera. You phone up your parts dealer, you give them the registration number, and they're like, well, we don't have any parts for that car registered. And you start thinking, well, surely there must be something similar. So you think the Starlet's similar, because that's what we've read about when we bought the car. But it's not the same. It's different. It's different sensors. This engine's different power. Everything for this car is bespoke to this car, which was only sold in Japan. And ours, of course, is in the UK. It's exactly what I thought when we bought this car. My major concern was that this is an imported car. It's going to be really difficult to get parts for, and the parts we can get will be really expensive. And that is what I'm discovering now.
But maybe there is a way out of it, because we don't want a new radiator. We want our radiator refurbished, and that should be possible. So I thought I'd give my mate a try. Good morning, Jason.
Morning, Will. How are you? All right?
I'm very good, mate. Very good. Now, as ever, I'm turning up with an unusual radiator that's got some problems.
Right, OK.
Yeah. Right, so it's got a crack in the top.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it looks a bit sad. I mean, what would you say we should be doing in this situation?
To be honest with you, Will, the tanks always go up there, so what we normally do is replace them with copper and brass tanks and put them on a new copper and brass centre.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we may have one in the workshop that we can put together for you, and then you can have it by the end of the week.
That is totally amazing. I'm really impressed.
But fingers crossed I've got one out there, so
yeah,
we'll have a look.
That's it. Well, should we go and have a little look-see?
Yeah.
Shall I bring this through?
Yeah, come on through.
Cool, cheers, mate.
That's all right.
These guys often work on an exchange basis, so they swap a refurb for a broken radiator. But I need a fix, as my casings are rare. So this is your little Aladdin's den, is it?
Yeah, this is where the magic happens.
Wowee. Right, what we got then?
Right, let's see if we've got a core and some tanks for this Toyota radiator. Yeah, I've got a core, so that's a good start. So we've got the centre. That's that there. What I'll do in a minute, Will, just see if we've got a couple of tanks for you so we can solder them on there.
That looks brilliant. That's exactly what we're looking for, yeah?
Should be, and it should be a lot more harder wearing as well. And hopefully these are the tanks, copper and brass tanks. So that'll get soldered on there. And yeah, this must be your lucky day. That one will get soldered on there.
This is my lucky day, isn't it?
I think so.
Those are what you say, copper and brass?
Yes, they are, yeah. So, like I said, they're a lot more harder wear and they can take a whack in that.
Well, that's exactly what we need. Right, OK. And when do you reckon you can get it done by then?
Yeah, I'll get it done by the end of the week, by Friday.
Magic. Right, well, if I gave you a hand carrying this lot downstairs, then that will help you get the job done even quicker for us.
Might even get it done by Thursday, then.
Well, I've got all of my fingers crossed, mate. All of my fingers crossed. I'm looking at 150 quid, but that is cheaper than fabricating a whole unit.
It's day 3, and our Sera is coming along despite being undrivable and looking a bit unloved inside and out.
So I stayed up last night looking, and this is ridiculous, isn't it? Just to find a distributor cap, a rotor arm and a set of leads. I stayed up last night going through page after page after page on the internet. In the end, I found a set from different places.
Really?
Yeah, and when they said they'd be here tomorrow, maybe the next day. But I'm hoping it's tomorrow because, actually, if you think about it, we haven't gone anywhere with this car yet.
No, we haven't. And it still looks like an absolute shed.
Yes, exactly that.
Which I shouldn't have mentioned, because that means we've now got to clean it.
I think we should. I think while we're waiting for that, why don't we take all the interior out, get it outside, clean it all up, and look at the carpets.
I think that'd be great. I don't really like cleaning very much, but yeah, it does need doing.
Well, not my favourite job, actually, either.
No, it's not. But I was thinking more about this T-bar bit between the two doors. You know, the roof bit is all pretty glossy. That
Yeah, the paint's coming off.
Yeah, could do it once over, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So you want to do that, then?
Yeah, I much prefer that to cleaning.
All right, I'll take the seats out and do the carpets. OK, good. Cool. Good plan.
Excellent.
Our test drive was too quick, and we were so hot we didn't realise how tatty the interior was. Because our Sera is particularly rare and an import, everything that is on it, or part of it, that is original, has to be in as good condition as possible. We have to preserve and save everything we've got. Actually, anyway, cleaning up the interior of a car is a fantastic way of adding value. It's relatively simple. I mean, it didn't take long to take everything out. And I have got a few tools in my armoury. I have the agitator here. I have a wet and dry vax. I have a normal vacuum cleaner, which isn't very good, actually, but it gets the bits and pieces off. And then I've got some sort of sprays and squirts, just upholstery cleaner, really. I found these in the back. I didn't realise they were in there, but these are original mats from a Sera, and they're in terrible condition. And I'm going to have a go at getting that out as well. I mean, they're rubber back, so they're a quality item, so I might be able to get it out. I don't know. I'm going to have a go anyway. But, yeah, well, we'll see. See what happens.
The lacquer on this section of the car, on the T-top bit of it, is all faded and broken and peeling off and stuff, which is quite common with lacquer. Now, I could respray it in the right colour and then re-lacquer it, but that's going to be a bit boring. We want to do something fun with the car. So, what I want to do is change the colour to satin black, also change the lines of where the paint comes to, because the normal paint line is just to here, and there's this wonderful triangular shape at the front of the car that blends into this T section here. So I want to save that. So I'm going to paint everything within the edge of here. It's going to look great. Also, with the satin black, it means that we future-proof it as well. So if we decide to do something else with the colour of the car, this is already looking great, and this will already work with anything else we choose to do. I've got a problem here because this area here in the centre, all the lacquer's come off, but the lacquer across the back of here is still very, very solid, so that's going to stay on. But it leaves me with this little step between the two. And if I just paint over that, it's going to be very, very visible. So in order to make a nice transition between unlacquered and lacquered that I'm going to paint over, I've just got to feather off the edge of this to make a beautiful transition between the two.
It's a funny thing about cleaning anything, isn't it? You forget how dirty it was once you've cleaned it. But luckily, I've got this in here to remind me. Look at that. So no matter how dirty you think it still looks, it's that much cleaner. That's really scummy. But look at this. I was really pleased with this. Look, it's really come up nicely. I mean, it's all come up nicely. It's not perfect, and there is still stains on a lot of it, but it's much, much, much better.
So, after some artful masking, I'm ready for paint. I just use a rattle can. It's fine, it's just a small job.
I'm thinking about that exterior. There's no way that that can be painted, so maybe a vinyl wrap for cost and speed? We've done it before and we know it works, but what colour? So have you ever agonised for hours, sometimes weeks, months, over what colour to paint a hall or a bathroom? Get little tester pots and you paint the pots on the walls. You see it in people's houses all the time, don't you? Well, buying a wrap for the Sera is very, very similar to that, because not only does it define the car, the colour, but it also defines whether you're going to be able to sell the car, which is perhaps more important. You could choose a colour that you think is fantastic. The rest of the world might not think the same, might they? So it is going to define whether you sell the car or not. So I've been looking at 70s Porsche colours. They've got some fantastic yellows, some fantastic greens, oranges. I'm sure you know the palette. They're bold without being brash, and that's the sort of thing I was looking for. In my mind, this Sera has always been a sort of 1980s concept car, the sort of car that I've seen at a show somewhere. I know this is a 1990s car, but it was developed in the 80s and it has that feel to it. So I was thinking that we should do something really bold, something metal flaky, something gold. I don't know. I mean, I was thinking of asking Will, but he'd just say ginger, so he's not really going to get a look in.
So the colour will be a little surprise then, as long as it works with a black roof.
Day 4 out of 5. It's getting close. So what does today bring for our Sera, apart from some cold grey rain? It brings a wrap. Not the musical one, the plastic one.
So are you excited?
I am very excited because today's the day we're going to get to make this car the car that we originally wanted.
Yeah. Yeah, it's finally come, hasn't it? It fills me with a little bit of an intrepidation, I have to say. Because it can go either way, can't it, when you're wrapping a car?
Yeah, horribly wrong or just wrong. No, I'm only joking. But we're not terribly experienced, are we?
We've not.
We've had a few goes in the past, and thankfully it's worked out OK.
Yeah, I think this will work out OK. It's not that much of it, is there?
Prep is the thing. All the nooks and crannies need to be cleaned with the solvents. And we fill and flat the little bits of damage here and there.
So what colour did I choose? A yellowy, goldish thing.
It's going to make it stand out, isn't it?
It's on the higher level of vivid, isn't it?
You know, it's an original colour, you know that?
Yeah, I do, yeah. I'm sort of quite surprised when I look at it. I mean,
Grello.
That is a Grello.
Green and yellow, I guess. I don't know. That's what it's called.
That's a funny name, isn't it?
Keep them as big as possible.
Like that. Cutting.
Our wrap jobs don't always go well, so we're being super careful.
Should we make a cut across there?
We probably should, I think.
A wrap like this can take around 3 days, but we're doing it in 1. We're having to cut our cloth or our plastic according to our resources.
How much you got over your side?
Quite a lot.
Well, give us a bit my side, so I'm right on the edge there.
Pull it then.
Go on then.
Much better, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One of the tricks we've learned is that we need to keep the plastic warm to allow it to be more flexible. But it's a real pain to get it looking good.
Yeah, I guess we'll go along there, shall we?
Oh, I'm feeling quite a lot of tension.
Yeah, me too.
After an extraordinarily frustrating morning, we take stock.
Oh, we haven't even finished it yet, have we?
We haven't even finished the bonnet yet. OK. Final push.
Right, a bit more.
Yeah.
Right.
From the middle.
Right. Let's have a look.
It's not bad. It's as good as we're going to get.
That's a great colour, yeah?
Yeah, it's a good colour.
They carefully made a template of the other wing so we could cut it. But it just saves us so much time, because if you try and hold this out against the car and cut around all the edges, it's just a bit of a nightmare. So templating it and working at the bench just makes it so much easier. Don't tell Gus. I cut it the wrong way round, and we've only just got enough fabric to do the job.
What have you done?
Well, normally I'll try and cover this up with bravado and gusto and all of that, but you know when you carefully think things through to lay them out.
I see what you've done. You've cut two the same side.
Yeah.
We better get some more.
Yeah, because we have only just got... I'm not going to ruin that one, though. I'm just going to fold it away neatly, just in case that one we just fitted goes horribly wrong at some point.
So we'll spare you the tears, but it's a long night before we get anything that looks even half right.
Well, that was a long old day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a long day. I thought that was supposed to be gold.
Yeah, it's not really the dream that I had in mind, but nevertheless.
We bought a car that is so rare it scares us. But we're making it go and fly with its cool new colour.
Today is a cleaning jamboree.
Well, I think it's working really well, but it's so difficult to see.
And I make a new cover for the yucky armrest.
And I get some cool Sera wheels online for 750 quid.
Look at these.
Oh, wow. Oh, crikey. Wow. Yeah, look at that.
You will never, ever find another set of those. They are incorporating the water droplet at speed, which was the whole inspiration for the Sera project.
Well, it's a bit of a damp.
No, it's supposed to be a water droplet. That's the whole
Is that
thing.
what it is?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, that is news to me. I didn't have a clue about that.
What are you up to then?
Look at that.
Yeah, it's a Ben
Right.
Lambda sensor.
So, this is the Lambert sensor out of our car.
Yes.
Now, we know that it failed its last MOT test on horrible emissions,
Yes.
don't we? And I'm pretty certain, and I'm no expert, but they're not supposed to be as bent as a banana.
No,
Because this second-hand one that I've got,
slightly less bent.
which is, yeah, a lot less bent, which
Yeah.
is brilliant, but we know that this one has come out of a car that works really well.
Yeah, well, if it comes out of one that works, we should be all right, shouldn't we?
Well, we are clutching at straws now. We can chuck this on in there and see if it can't solve all of our problems.
That would be great, wouldn't it? Because we do have a car that looks amazing, don't we? It's not the colour we wanted, but it looks great.
No, I'm surprised at the colour too.
It'd be great if it ran all right, wouldn't it?
It would be nice.
I'm going to
but
put these
we
on.
can see where we get to with this, yes?
Yeah, OK.
The emission sensor being swapped for a reliable one, plus our flush, should see the MOT back to us. Gus's wheels go on, and the Recon Rad is ready as promised.
Here is the finished article ready to be fitted, which I'm going to crack straight on with.
The car is now actually cool. It got its zing back and gets to realise its full concept car potential. It cost £2,000, but the Rad was £150, the wheels £750, the wrap was £400 and other bits were £150. The lemon juice was from Will's lunch, so that was free. So the Sera owes us under £3,500. Cool bananas!
You know, I've got a question. I've got a question that is so hot it's going to burn my lips when I say it.
Ooh, maybe a bit of caution could be recommended in that situation.
The question is, have we been idiots? With all the work that we've done on this car, and this is a very, very niche car, it owes us a lot of money, doesn't it?
I think you've got a good point there, and certainly worth thinking about. But firstly, I mean, look at this car. Look at it. Doesn't it just absolutely fantastic? I mean, that is now a showstopper, yeah?
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's funny with this car in particular because I was very hot and cold on this car. I'm very cold on it almost from the point that we bought it, in actual fact. But very hot on it ever since we've wrapped it, because wrapping it has shown its absolute true form, hasn't it? All the lines, it really stands out. And it looks to me like a Tokyo show car from 1990. I think I've seen this at the Tokyo show. It looks that good now.
Well, it's interesting you say that, isn't it? Because when we first got this car, yes, it is a very interesting car because of the whole concept of it all, but it was hardly a head-turner, yeah?
No, it wasn't. But I mean, it was just rare, wasn't it, when we bought it? We bought it because it was rare. But the grey, to my mind, would appeal to the aficionados, and we know they're out there because we've had contact with them, haven't we? And I think that we've taken a risk by wrapping it this colour, and that's what worries me.
OK, well, that is the sort of guys we are, isn't it? We're not the boring, middle-of-the-road people. We've got a car with a lot of potential, and we've decided to push it as far as we can. And We don't know, but we can always keep our fingers crossed that somebody from Japanese Japan may well see our advert and go, hey, I want that car. Obviously, they say it in Japanese, but we've played big this time. It might just pay off.
Yeah, I hope so. I really hope so.
Well, sometimes you have just got to go for it, and that's exactly what we've done. We've gone for it, and we've created this crazy car. And I think it is starting to have a bit of an effect on me. I'm becoming really attached to it.
It's getting to you, isn't it? I can see that.
It really has, yeah. Yeah, through and through.
I get it.
We need to drive it, but where? Where will suit this showstopper, which doesn't have an MOT yet? Luckily, the interior go-kart track is helping us out for 6 bottles of wine.
Oh, yeah! We should be wearing, like, really cool sunglasses, silver shirts, suits, shiny shoes. Oh, it works! Isn't this car cool?
What we should have done, of course, is raided your dressing up box before we came, shouldn't we?
That's exactly what we should have done. That would have been brilliant.
We could stop at a second-hand store if you want.
Yeah, all right then. Well, I don't think we've really got time. Let's just put this car through its paces, shall we? See what it can do.
I do think, though, if you think about this car, it's a city car, spec'd for the future. I mean, I was thinking about this last night. Designed in the past for a future that is now really the past, isn't it? But it's stood up pretty well, hasn't it? With its super mini engine. I mean, this interior is fantastic, isn't it?
It's amazing.
And butterfly doors. I mean, it stood the test of time, hasn't it?
What could be cooler than this car? I mean, this, I think, is the sort of car that some shrewd investor should buy and put in a hermetically sealed, air-conditioned cube so you can still see it from the outside and store it away for 20 years. And I think it would be worth so much money. It's a good investment, a small fortune even.
Well, I don't know about a small fortune, but I do think you're right. I do think that it's a sort of collector's car for the future. I mean, we always say that, but this in particular, I mean, everyone we talk to about it is like, oh, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I do think you're right, but it's difficult with Japanese cars, isn't it? Because some cars work and sort of start accelerating in price. I'm thinking of things like CRXs and S2000s. They're on the rise, aren't they? But there's really cool Subarus and Isuzus, which are just really left as niche cars.
Yeah, well, this is one of those niche cars, which is uber cool, but there's very limited numbers of these. I think it has every possibility for the future.
Well, I've updated the site as soon as we finish the car. So, if anybody wants one,
yes,
they'll know that it's for sale. We wait, and we wait slightly longer. Who will buy our wonderful Sera?
Well, so I know we've had no offers on this car. Well, not enough to make us a decent profit on this little Sera.
Yeah, I think in hindsight we should have been able to see that it wasn't going to be a quick flip, shouldn't we?
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, hindsight is 20/20, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you know, well, I think it's best for us to wait. I don't want to go giving this car away.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah. I think it's where we are, isn't it? It's just, that's what it is. We'll take it out, we'll sheet it up, we'll wait, yeah?
Yeah, I think that's the best bet. Yeah, definitely.
We've never done this before. We've never sat on a car.
And actually, at time of press, we do get an offer, full asking. But until the money is in the account, the Sera stays put.